Hello, this is Sophia, and I'm coming to you from an unconventional location just to mix things up. Um, anyways, as for what's going on in my life, I'll get to that later. Um, in for the questions. Bob asked, is there someone who you care about who you'd want back in your life? Well, here's the thing is there's a girl whom I met when I was in high school. She was one grade ahead of me, and and even after high school she'd keep appearing, just popping in and out at different periods in my life. I think she could tell who I was inside, even though I was nowhere near being able to articulate it. But I'll never know for sure because even though she kept popping in and out of my life, basically I'd just occasionally just run into her somewhere, and it would always be very happy, both for me and for her, and apparently for her as well. But I don't know. She may never know. I'll never know whether she could tell who I really am because a few years before I began transitioning, she just suddenly stopped making these appearances in my life. And I have no idea if she's still in this area, which she probably is not, or if she's even still alive, which I hope she is. But I really wish I could see her again, just to say hi, see how she's doing, and everything. I do miss her a lot. Um, Megan asked, have I ever had a success that made someone else jealous? Well, as far as I know, I don't really believe that much of my successes were public enough or coveted enough or whatever enough for me to really inspire any jealousy in someone else. So I'd say, as far as I know, really not. Um, um, Matthew asked what I think about how all this about everything having to be so PC nowadays. For the most part, I was going to say that I really don't notice that at all. But then I do remember some time ago when we were in a discussion in somewhere, and and I mentioned some things that Gwenarajo did that put her in an excessively vulnerable situation, and someone right away snapped that I was blaming the victim, which I was not. In my opinion, you're not blaming the victim until you suggest that they deserved what happened to them because of what they did wrong, or suggest that the penalty on the perpetrator should somehow be lessened, or whatnot. I didn't do any of these things. I was not trying to blame her for what happened. However, one does need to be able to talk candidly about things. For example, in this case, for the sake of figuring out how to do crime prevention. And yes, one should say, instead of telling people all these things to do this, this, and that to avoid falling victim of a crime, they should tell the criminals to not commit the crimes. Well, that's all fine and idealistic, except for one tiny problem. Chances are the criminals aren't listening to you. And we do need to find ways to properly deter criminals, but we have to advise people how to take common sense measures to avoid being victim, and that means we have to be able to talk candidly about that without being right away snapped at for blaming the victim. Um, let's see. Win-Win said, "What do I stand for?" Well, to be honest, I try to be a force of good in the world as much as I can. However, beyond that, I really don't know too much in detail what I stand for. I know pretty much my answer is the same as Mark's answer. I don't mean to be copycat, Mark, but just I kind of ditto you on that answer. And Mark you asked, how good am I at censoring myself? And at times I'm not good enough. I do make many inappropriate statements, not meaning to do so, simply because of my ability to observe society having been impeded for so many years by a situation you all know about. I, as a result, am often kind of clueless and therefore make inappropriate statements, not meaning to do so. But also other times I overcompensate, and when somebody is saying utter baloney, I just shut up and take it in the name of seeing the other view. So that's pretty much my answer to how good I am at censoring myself. I both underdo it and overdo it. And my question is, if you could be a character of legend or of fiction, who would you be and why? And I really wish I was Xena, the warrior princess. And why? The reason is because she so much is an embodiment of everything that I wish I were, but am not. She's very independent as opposed to me. I'm very codependent. But she's very fierce and independent. Me, I need to. I have a clustering problem. Xena, on the other hand, since she lives a nomadic lifestyle, she needs very few physical possessions. And then she's also brimming with sexuality, while me, here I am, trapped in a body through which it's like pretty much impossible for me to express any sexuality that is consistent with who I am inside. Now, one thing is about wanting to exude sexuality. I was a bit afraid to admit it because I know that there's a lot of people out there who have some crazy goal of trying to pathologize transsexuals who will no doubt take it the wrong way. Me wanting to exude feminine sexuality is not by any means a fetish. I am not an autogynephile. But I mean, everyone wants to be sexual, but everyone also wants to do it in a gender appropriate way. That doesn't mean you have a fetish. That just means that I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, and that it is one of the things that frustrates me, and so that's again one of the reasons why I wish that's one of the reasons why I wish I was Xena, because she exudes all that sexuality and I don't. But anyways, if you could be a character of fiction or legend, who would you be and why? Anyways, I guess I better stop now before I run too long. Talk to you later. Bye!